Anyways though, up next here, a little small thing. Up next here, we have the wonderful, phenomenal D1 here. He's been waiting very patiently. We've been we've been so late here. What's going on, bro? What's up?
Whew. Your boys doing good, man. It's been an interesting time, especially as a member of the Black community. Just seeing like all the allies, all the people stepping up. I've been pretty happy. Like I know a lot. I had a lot of people like hitting me up, making sure that I'm okay, and it was insane to see like the amount of support that has come my way from people who were legitimately interested in figuring out how they can be better allies. What have they done that before that might have, that I might have swept under the rug and just like said whatever, about just to not become that friend that always brings up injustices and all types of things like that, right? I don't know if you ever dealt with that
Oh no, yeah,
where
no, I was talking to actually two guests ago. Oh, I sound like a professional right now.
hmm
The whole struggle of when are you being too preachy is the situation,
hmm
and it's like, okay, when am I bringing important issues to the forefront, and when am I being too preachy? And it's like this. The only thing I ever had was the whole like people were unfollowing. Like it was like not even night and day. It was like, okay, I would do anything else, gaming, memes, whatever, and just things about me, all good. It would accumulate. Then I
oh
get political unfollows. I'm like, is it me? But it's funny here because now that you're not you're seeing it, and a lot of other Smash content creators are seeing here too now. It was never us. It was the people who were like they were entitled. Hey D1, shut up and dribble. Get back to Smash. Why are you talking about all this bad news? I don't care about all this. This doesn't involve me, and or I can afford to not have to deal with it.
yep
And
yep
now we're seeing it front and center.
I was told, by the way, that my volume's low. I don't know if you could boost me a tad
Oh yeah,
more.
I boosted you up. Chad, is he good now? I gave him a big boost. I noticed it right away here. Is he better now?
We're good. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, dude. So like when you were talking about the whole like, hey man, shut up and dribble. Um it's funny, I will admit, as a person, like growing up, I definitely had like issues like not liking my skin, right? Or my hair, just cuz I was hearing people always talk about how, how you have those friends that always talk about their preferences and such things like that. And like where there are people who will, try to champion for them and say, well, we like what we like, whatever. I can't ever help but feel undesirable whenever you hear people try to talk about how, oh, I usually like this type of person, or I usually like that type of person. But then those same type of people, the moment they see a celebrity that is from a group or a race that they usually would not try to give the time of day, all of a sudden they're going gaga over that person, right? And it's just like always funny to me. But as I grew up and got more self confidence, thank mostly I have to thank like Smash for that too, right? Like Smash, when I joined the Smash community, that was definitely one of the communities where I felt like I could escape, where I felt like I belonged, and they helped build me up into the person I am today, to the point where now I'm in a position to inspire others who also wanted to take the mantle and do their own thing. Like looking at one of the great commentators we have here in the Smash scene, like TK Breezy. TK Breezy saw me doing my thing, right? He saw me hit the pavement, and I was commentating 5 years after being a competitor, like around 2010, and he saw like how I was doing it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I wanna do that too." And it was cool to see him even bring EE on, who EE is also like a superstar of the scene, and I love that we have a whole bunch of us like brothers who are inspiring each other to continue to do great in the community. But like, yeah, man, to go back to the whole "shut up and dribble" quote that you made, I um I used to be one of those people who, whenever it came to politics, whenever it came to hot button subjects, topics rather, you never used to hear me speak unless like it was something from within like Smash. But if it was like something on a world scale or whatever, I never used to speak out. I'll admit, and that's not a good thing, right? It's not like I was afraid of losing followers or anything like that. I just never felt like I was educated enough. Then I realized, oh, if you're not educated enough, educate yourself and understand that you are living in this world. And the moment you finally have a friend or family or yourself who is affected by something like this, then all of a sudden you're going to care. It's probably going to be too late. So, it's good that you understand now and you try to be more empathetic to what's going on with all these people in the world. So I'm happy now that I'm better when it came to that. Now I'm trying to use my platform to leveraging my platform to try to um speak up about these kind of topics. And like I remembered I was on Instagram. I never usually use my Instagram to ever talk about like, these kind of topics before. And I said, screw it, I'm going to do it. So the moment I did it, I was met with like a bunch of people that were upset, right? They decided to like spew vitriol in my direction and talk about how, oh, D1, I can't believe this. So you're saying that, you're supporting businesses and, all these people looting. And I was like, all right, so what we're doing is diverting from the conversation. They're basically throwing a smoke bomb and to try to like cloud my vision. We were on a certain topic. Instead of remaining on topic, they want to change the topic. They always change the topic. And I still am a firm believer. I don't think a lot of people agree with me on this, Trihex, but I'm a firm believer trying to educate even the people that remain obstinate. Because I feel like I used to be one of those people that never wanted to listen to those kind of things. I used to be one of those people that didn't understand why it was bad to say all lives matter. I will admit that. I never said it out loud, but now I'm admitting it. I used to be one of those people. Because I never educated myself. I used to be one of those people that was like, oh, I don't see color. But then I educated myself, right? I won't say I was a self-hating black person. I'm not Doja Cat. Don't get it twisted. Right now, right? Like I like my hair a lot. I'm surprised, looking at myself back then, I was like, damn, you were a mighty fine looking young dude, man. And I still am, right?
Yeah, oh
But
yeah, no
yeah,
doubt.
like, thank you. Um, now after all the research that I did, I'm happy to be able to like talk to all these people and try to let them know why these topics matter. And I'm gonna keep putting it out there. And if they have an issue, then the door is right there. But if they're willing to stick around and have a conversation that won't result in name calling and all that stuff, let's talk. And hopefully we can finally see eye to eye, right? Like hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from, even if it'll take a while. I will keep trying to put that information out there so that they in turn could be like the me who was dismissive of all these topics and decided, oh, I'm just going to focus on gaming and all this other stuff. I'm going to focus on my job. I'm going to focus on family and friends. Like this doesn't concern them. So why does it concern me? I'm not gonna be like that person anymore, and I'm happy that I'm not like that person anymore. It's embarrassing to admit it, but I think we're having candid conversations with everybody, right? And I think
Hmm.
it's about time I break the silence when it comes to things like that. So, um, I'm sorry if I disappointed anybody if they hear that I used to have those kind of thoughts, but I'm better now.
Okay,
I'm better
well,
now.
let's slow down because we're going a mile a minute here. So first thing
My bad.
first,
I just had a
no, no,
had a
no, no. Hey, look,
DJ.
no, you're killing it. You're killing it. So first thing first here is that I think it's mega admirable to be able to admit when you had fault in the past and be able to reflect on that and not have to like double down on preserving, I guess, the ego. That way you don't have to admit you're wrong. Because you could just do the good old the content creator 101, right? Just bury it, don't give it attention, and you can use your existing cloud to kind of like minimize that and then bring up another thing and move on with it. You can do that very easily. The cost is free and it's way lower risk, high reward, 100%. No, it takes a humbled ego to be able to publicly admit when there was fault, to really cement the growth and learn from it and move on. So that's great. I love it. I love it. Let's first, because you brought up 2 points where I'm particularly interested in picking you further on, if you wouldn't mind. Which was first like that you think you consider it not immediately a universal take here that it's worth teaching everyone who you can about BLM, or those who have like a problematic viewpoint, or one that you feel is one worth debating and redefining for them. That way, if they're lost off the trail, they understand the movement, and they're an ally rather than like questioning the legitimacy of the movement. Like you made it sound like you want to you're down to teach everyone if they're willing to listen. Is that right?
Yeah, I know there are people out there that are like, no, once a person decides to show pushback, whatever, I'm gonna instantly like block or whatever. Like, it's only when you go down the harassment route, like outright, you're just trying to harass me, then it's like, you could just go. But at the end of the day, if there's a person out there who probably because of their environment, right? The people, the way they were brought up, the people that are around them, et cetera, how they were educated, if if that's how they were brought up, with the internet and being able to be exposed to so many different ideologies and just like ideas in general, right? One can change, but it takes them, right? It's on them to change. We can't expedite the process of one changing. All we can do is continue to plant the seeds and hope that one day it'll bear fruit.
Absolutely. Point number two that you made earlier when you were just firing off in the intro here was that you there is this struggle, right? Of, and this is something I think me and you have actually had a heart to heart about. I recall this. I actually recall, if I can keep 100 right now, me and you, homie to homie, on the radar, but low key off the radar here. We had a conversation at it was at a party at a Bud Light lounge of some sort, and we were talking about like how me and you, we aim to make good content. We don't aim to make good content for a black person or good black content. It is excellent content by a black person, but we don't aim. But me and you, I remember we had a conversation about like, this idea that like, do we want to do we want to be known for being a black content creator, if that makes sense? This identity where like, do you want to be known for being a black content creator, or do you want your content to be able to stand independent of the crutch of being black, right?
Okay.
So we had that convo in the past here, and I wonder if like I wonder, and forgive me if it's a heavy question here, but it was one you kind of you brought up earlier, so I was like, okay, do you want to dig into that further here? Do you find that's something you still struggle with now, or do you find you found clarity since then, like, or is not really an answer you find at all in that regard?
I'm trying to remember when we had that conversation, what was my answer? And I think my answer, if I'm not mistaken, was I don't want to merely be seen as a black insert, whatever I specialize in here, correct? Was that what I said? Where I wanted to only be seen, respected on my own merit? Like, when it came to commentary for Smash Brothers, nobody ever really went, uh, D1 is like one of the best black commentators in Smash Brothers. I always got, you're one of the best commentators. You're one of my favorite commentators. You're one of my favorite melee commentators, one of my favorite ultimate commentators, or one of my favorite Smash commentators in general. Or some people may even think I'm the best, right? Um, when it comes to people saying, "Hey, I think you're a great black insert here." I will take pride if you see me as a great representative of my race, but I will also be happy if you also, put me on high for whatever it is that I worked hard to accomplish. Like a lot of the times, whenever I do things, I just do it out of love and because I'm enthusiastic about it. But if ever I get the sense that there's affirmative action afoot, I really, 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 really want to get an opportunity only because I deserve it. I never want to feel like I was just literally shoved in, because they needed to,
Diversity
like,
quota,
yeah, quota. That makes me feel like, damn, I whenever I know it's good to have representation,
hmm
but as a human being that always likes to prioritize giving somebody an opportunity because they're good at it, I'd rather you choose somebody who's good regardless of the way they look, in my opinion. But I do think representation is also good. So if you're gonna pick people, and you want to make sure that there are people up there, um, and you know that there are people worldwide that are watching, okay, if you're gonna pick people, make sure that the people you're picking are right for the job and not just like, oh, I'm gonna pick this guy, even though he probably doesn't know diddly squat about this subject. We still need to fill that quota, so let's bring them on, And then they go on and they do a piss poor job, and it's like, whoa, why did they even bring them on? Like, because then that's just a bad representation for the rest of us, right?
Yeah.
That can like identify with that person's racial identity. Is that correct? Did I say that right? No.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah,
So
dude. Jeez, okay. So yeah, known for your blackness or known for your black excellence. It's a complicated question. It's a little bit it's fluid, and yeah, I remember we had that convo, and it was a good one because it's something we're still. I don't know if the question ever really goes away, as we continue on now, because like I don't think neither me nor you ever perceived that we would get this far. If you think back to like, I don't know, I'll just think back to like Apex 2014, right? Like here we are, 6 years later. I don't think anything would have been crazy here. So it's like it's just so hard to think about where that goes from here, and then how relevant our blackness will be or won't be. But
mm,
I'm very happy that our blackness will allow us to use our platforms to build these bridges, right?
yeah, yep. One thing that really helped me out for other members, like other POCs in the chat, persons of color in the chat, I never tried to make excuses for my failures, you know? Like, I know there can be times where maybe you may not get an opportunity because of your skin color, but I never let that be the stopping point, right? Like if ever that was an issue, I didn't try to entertain that. I'd be like, all right, I didn't get the opportunity. I'm gonna work harder. I'm gonna keep going at it until I get my opportunity. And if there's any of you guys out there who ever feel discouraged because you probably didn't get an opportunity and you feel like you won't make it because of your background, right? The way you speak, the way you look, which you did not even choose, right? You were brought into the world the way you are, and people are just going to have to deal with it. And if they're not going to give you a chance, you're going to keep working your ass off till you get there. And when you get there, watch all those people that didn't want to give you a chance. They're going to come back. They're going to act like they were your best friend. They're going to realize they missed out. Even that, it's just crazy how it's like Mike Jones said, right? Back then didn't want me, now I'm all on me. At the end of the day, you keep working on you because you are special and you do deserve a chance. And I know you guys will all make it. Don't ever feel like because you were born the way you are that you were dealt the short end of a stick, that you will never find success, that you're not going to be able to, have the life that you want to live because of uh, what may be perceived as being dealt a bad card. You weren't dealt a bad card. You just got to keep on going. And success, I always tell people whenever it comes to my stream, success doesn't have a schedule, right? I never ever thought of when I would get those opportunities to commentate at a Pokemon event, Nintendo event, do an Evo, and keep headlining a bunch of these like big time events for Smash. I just said, hey, I really like video games. I'm gonna keep playing video games. My parents think I'm addicted, but I'm gonna keep playing.
You, sir, you have lived in New York, right?
Yes.
Right. And you had to, and then you've lived in California. So you've been on East Coast and you've been on West Coast. Can you
California.
do you
Okay.
want to would you love to tell us about what's it like? Do you find that like being black in either of those locations was like a different experience? Or was it like all the same experience? Or was there anything unique to one versus the other? Or is it kind of like a little bit too abstract to say because it was like the time of your life at each point?
All right. Let's see. Let's see. um, in my experience living in New York City, I've definitely encountered more. like not so pleasant experiences as a black person than living in California. But then again, that's probably because I lived in New York City more, so there's just more opportunities to run into not so pleasant experiences. I could relate some of them. I remembered attending my first ever Smash Fest in what part of, I think it might have been in Brooklyn, not Staten Island. It was somewhere in Brooklyn in in a predominantly white neighborhood for sure. One of my friends, he went by Dark Bulb, and he invited myself and Dyer over to train in Melee. This was my first ever training session with like people after my first tournament. I was like, damn, I got bodied, and I made some cool friends at this event. Let me start coming out of my let me start coming out of my my not my cage, but my house, and basically see if I can start training. I want to get better. And while I was waiting outside of my friend's house to get indoors, I rang the bell, and somebody just drove by and yelled the N word with the hard R there, and they yelled it and they laughed. And when I heard it, um, at first I was disturbed, but then I was just like, well, I mean, he drove off after he said it, so he's a punk. Who cares? Like, it's not okay that he said it, but I mean, like, he drove off and he was in his car. He can't say it to my face, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of made me like when I mulled that over, I went from being annoyed to being like, he's a coward, whatever. And the other time that I've ever dealt with a weird situation was I've had like myself and four other black friends in a car with me, and we're driving from my house all the way to, I used to live in Canarsie. And I drove like a couple blocks for like how many blocks? Like I was driving probably like 40, 50 plus blocks through through the neighborhood of
Hashtag
Brooklyn.
Black Lives
And
Matter.
as I was just about to try to pull into a McDonald's with the homies, a drive-through McDonald's on our way to, I think we are on our way to GameStop. We are on our way to a GameStop, yeah. And as I'm driving there, I think we were gonna like buy some games, whatever. A cop pulls us over. So a cop pulls us over, and all the friends that were with me, we were all raised in a super religious household, right?
Oh.
I don't know if you guys ever knew, but I've told a couple people this, like my upbringing, parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. So all my friends were Jehovah's Witnesses in the car, and we're all driving in the car, whatever. And as we're all driving in the car, I get pulled over, and I'm like, we all definitely have seatbelt on, like nobody's speeding. What's happening? So I pull over, whatever, and the cop comes by. I roll down my window, whatever, to listen to him. I give him my information. He's like he's like, "Do you smell that?" And I'm like, "Smell what?" And it smelled like weed. But the weird thing was, I was like, that's not coming from here. So I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and basically I just sat there, stood my ground with my friends. We're like, yeah, like we literally could all roll down the windows. There's nothing in here. And then I know I smelled weed for sure. The cop tried to press me about something. We're like, we're just gonna go buy video games at GameStop. We're just gonna buy McDonald's. I have my indicator on. Nothing crazy. Like we're cool. Like there's nothing bad happening here. And he's like, all right, you guys have a bad day. And he walked away, and I saw him throw like weed and on the floor, and he stepped on it in my rearview mirror, and I couldn't believe it, bro.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it. I was like, did he really try? Did he really try that? Like,
Wow.
got in trouble. I could have legitimately gotten in trouble. My mom probably would have flipped. Obviously, like people would probably presume, oh, like,
The
yeah,
cop
you're
wouldn't lie.
yeah, like I know I like here's the thing, right? Even though I know I have a good relationship with my parents, if I were to just have a record, right? That would be so bad, Trihex. People always do background checks, and especially when it comes to like people of color, right? So if they're gonna hire you, they're gonna be like, oh, let me double check if he has a record. And so like when it came to that, I was just like freaking out, heart pounding out of my chest, bro. But thankfully, nothing happened. I still have no record to this day. Clean, bro. Super clean, pristine record. I got my McDonald's, went to GameStop. I don't even remember what game we were trying to get that day because it was just like a whole bunch of us. But we were just riding out. We always just drive. I remember there was this one song I heard from like Earl Sweatshirt where it was like, too black for the white kids, too white for the blacks. When I heard that, I was like, yo, super relatable. I used to work at Domino's Pizza from like 2004 to 2008 as a young kid, right in college. And when I was doing that, bro, like I was in East New York and I was surrounded by a lot of POC there. They would use all types of slang and stuff. And the way I spoke was way too proper for them. It was to the point where they're like, yo, you sound mad white when you talking. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll try to assimilate, right? And learn. Um oh, okay. I'll try to assimilate and learn some of the jargon, some of the words that they use, because apparently I sound too educated. Like, I'm sorry, my parents raised me the way I am, right? Like, I love video games, I love to learn, and I loved being that kid that would just raise his hand in class. They would always be like, "All right, so who wants to read this next passage? Yada yada. Who wants to read this chapter?" Oh, it looks like D1's hand is raised again. And then they're like, yeah, I love when D1 reads. He sounds like he should be on like National Geographic or one of those shows where they have a narrator or whatever. And I never, ever quite listened whenever they said that. To me, I was just like, ha ha, these guys are crazy, you know? But yeah, lo and behold, right? Look where we're at now. Um, yeah, as far as like as far as that conversation is concerned, when it came to the whole just like not feeling like you belong anywhere, particularly because of you having a certain color, but then you sound way too educated for them. Like that was so weird. So I started to try to like incorporate slang and all of that stuff in my speak to try to fit in, but I didn't think I sounded natural doing it. It was definitely a weird transition for me, but at some point I knew how to have different versions of myself depending on who I'm hanging out with. Like if I'm hanging out with people who just like me the way I am and I could be myself, I'll be like that, right? My friends basically. But then if I'm at work and I'm dealing with people at work that are like, yo, Steve Urkel, why do you sound like this? Because I used to wear glasses a
Uh,
lot too. Steve Urkel, why you sound so smart? Why do you dress like that? Why your socks showing? Like I didn't know any of that. Like sometimes I had high waters. Sometimes my pants went a little bit above my ankles. My bad. My parents gave me that, yo. My parents gave me that. I have long legs. But at the end of the day, and so in order for them to feel better, they always have to hate on others to make others feel bad about loving certain things. But you keep on loving. If you love whatever it is that you love, and people want to clown you for that, don't let them stop you from loving. Be happy. You deserve to be happy. We only have a finite amount of time on this planet. Why should we let people take that love away from us, right? So, to circle that back to BLM, same thing. Same thing goes, right? Try to understand that when it comes to this kind of movement too, to not let that beget hatred to other people. Like, so there's certain times where I see when this happens, people will want to start to incite hatred among others, like, well, yeah, what about these communities that are coming in, trying to take money from black people, all these shops and whatnot, and these are not even white black owned shops. Don't support them, only support black owned. And I'm like, calm down, wait. Like, I understand that you're trying to get more people to want to support black owned businesses, but you don't have to tear down other people. Like, there's no need for that, dog. Like, well, why are we doing this? You could just tell people, hey, support black owned businesses, while not trying to actively get people to boycott other businesses that aren't black. Like, what's the point of that? We're only trying to create more division at the end of the day when it comes to that. Instead, raise awareness that there are black businesses and tell people to go enjoy it. You don't have to bash something. There's no need for any of that. So yeah, screw the entitlement, screw the gatekeeping, and just love each other. Like with this whole Black Lives Matter movement, the whole reason that we're trying to talk about it is because at the end of the day, once everybody understands that Black Lives Matter, we can get to the conversation of the All Lives Matter conversation, right? But
mhm.
it's step by step. It's step by step. I mean, there's a whole bunch of crazy things that are happening in the world for sure. I heard like from one of my friends that apparently there's like Muslims or in concentration camps in China or something like that. Trihex, did you hear about that?
In China? No, I didn't hear about that. No.
Well, I'll try to expound. I had a friend who worked at Shack News. I did a what was it? Yeah, there it is. See, they got it. The chat got it. Yeah, the Trihex, check that on your free time. I don't want to take
No,
I don't want
I will. I
I
wasn't
want you to,
aware.
yeah, feel free to do research on that, but it's not okay. So yeah, like there's some crazy stuff happening around the world, and we definitely need to see like more justice for people of color at the end of the day, man. Like it's definitely not okay. So
Soul Ninja asked earlier, how does blackness rank in terms of your form, um, in terms of how you form your identity, along with being a gamer slash American slash etc. How does blackness rank in terms of how you form your identity? And if I'll go first on that one. So the thing here, whenever I'm describing that as like, I want to normalize blackness, everyone, it's more that I wanted everyone who is not familiar with the black experience to uh to listen and understand what it's like, because it may not be, there are some things they may not be aware of that black people have to be very considerate of ultimately here. um and so with that in mind, like I was saying before here, for example, like I can't just play Yu-Gi-Oh and be a great Yu-Gi-Oh player, whatever, because I was the only black kid playing Yu-Gi-Oh. The onus was on my responsibility now to understand, like, being isolated for playing Yu-Gi-Oh meant that I created animosity with the other black kids because I was quote unquote doing a white activity, or I hung around a bunch of white friends and made the black kids jealous, or I don't know, whatever, because of that. Um, let me think here. What else here? I don't know. The music I consumed wasn't black enough. The activities I did weren't black enough. The way I spoke wasn't black enough. It just, if I had a dollar for every critique I had about like being called white Mike and being called a tight ass, it was actually insane. So these are all things that maybe not exclusive to being to particularly the isolation of such for me, but I thought y'all would want to know what that was like for me. Being a black content creator I think hits a little bit different because it goes back here to the whole like diversity quotas at times where they can hurt you or help you. Sure, maybe give a voice to those who are silenced, but at the same time here, is your content delegitimized because of the mandate for there to be representation amongst the minorities and things like that. It gets complicated, and it's really, the answer is there's not really one answer. It's conditional, it's contextual. So I that's what I'm here to do right now, is help normalize that blackness in whatever way it can be. So
yeah.
with that, I pass the mic over to you, D1. How does blackness rank in terms of how you form your identity? We've already kind of answered it before, but I figured maybe you
Yeah, I feel like I might have answered it before, but I could try to see if I can get back to it. It's a very nuanced answer, right? Like for me, if you remember, um, like anything that I liked, I never gravitated towards anything because of the kind of people that were into it. If it attracted me, then I would gravitate towards it, right? It would be like a magnetic pull. If I heard music or played a game, whatever, I would get drawn to it, right? Like if there was a girl that I liked, regardless of the way, like, of the color of her skin, like that was it. It wasn't like I never would be like, oh, a girl is black, I wouldn't like her. Oh, a girl is white, I wouldn't like her. Oh, a girl is this, that, and the third, like brown, I wouldn't like her. At the end of the day, like if it's just a really cool person that I was interested in, then I would be like more attracted to them. And I don't know. I don't think I was the type that ever really factored in blackness much growing up. Because you remember, I admitted to being a person who never really had those kind of conversations with my parents, and only a few times I would have like situations where I would feel like, man, was that racist? Like, or that was racist, right? Things like that. But other than that, it wasn't like a everyday thing in my life. And I just continued to try to live on that straight path. So I don't feel like it ranks too highly for me, but I do know that it is important that I understand my identity as a black man and the importance in that, right? Like that's important to not just throw away the fact that I am black, or the fact that my parents were born in Haiti, right? Which would make me a Haitian American, right? At the end of the day, sac passe to all my Haitians in the chat if you guys are watching. But yeah, dude, like uh I, I think at the end of the day, I just wanted to be a good person and to be a good example for others. And if I am a person that someone can relate to because of the fact that we're both black, and I will inspire them to do good, that makes me happy at the end of the day. But as far as growing up, when it came to my decision making and all my just like whatever I did, I never factored in, oh, I'm black before I made the decision, you know? Like the only time I've only like had to realize that I was black when people would try to say I seemed white. Oh, because of the way I talked. Or actually, interestingly enough, I just realized this Trihex. So
Oh,
recently when I started uploading pictures on Instagram about me hanging out with all my friends. And the friends that I hang out outside of like gaming, that I hang out with a lot, most of them are Asian, right? And I
right.
never even realized that most of them were Asian. It was a Instagram post where they mentioned, "Yo, how come you only hanging out with like Asian girls and all this stuff?" And I was like, I'm definitely not just willingly only going, "Oh, she's Asian, I'm gonna hang out with her." It's like if I have friends that want to hang out and we just so happen to take a picture, bam. Like I definitely have pictures on my Instagram with me taking pictures with black girls, with white guys, black guys, you know, brown people, just people of all different colors and backgrounds. Like, I never consciously made the decision to go, oh, I only like these group of people to hang out with, or oh, I'm hanging out too much with this group of people. Let me stop because I need to go find some other black people to hang out with. If people are free to hang out and you're my friend, we're gonna hang. I'm not gonna, pull the whole like Disney Channel, and be like, well, for tonight, it looks like we're gonna have one brown person, one Asian person. We're gonna get one white person. We also got to make sure we get at least one member of the LGBTQIA plus community. I mean, June's coming up. We gotta look good, especially for the gram. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna do that, bro. Like at the end of the day, if you are whatever you are and you chilling with me, we out. That's it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, let's check off the list real quick. All right. I'm not gonna do that. Get the heck out of here. So when people come at my neck and try to
Mhm.
ask why it looks like I hang out with certain people, or if other people go, "Oh, you have a black friend, whatever like that." They're like, "No, he's my friend." Like there's no black friend. This is my friend, and I love the fact that I have people in my corner like that, where it's they don't try to act like, "Oh, now I have a black friend since we're homies and stuff like that." Instead they see me as a person, and they do understand the importance of seeing my color, but they're not gonna just categorize me as the black friend, and now because of this, they have the okay to say the N word. No, what I'm saying? Like, calm down. So,
Heard that, bro. Good, great stuff, man. You hit up. Okay, so there was like, I feel like I did a bad job here because like you brought the Haitian parents. I completely forgot about that. I could have dug further on that one. That would have been some great lore, some great D1 lore. No, we'll save it for another time because that one I'm like, oh man, that would have been cool to talk about. But the one I do want to talk about though, I won't talk about both obviously, but like the one that I'm like, oh man, I can exchange with you on is you brought up the when you're reminded of your race, y'all. That's something that I feel is part of the black experience, unfortunately. And let me tell you, I've been there where it's like I never looked at race as like, ooh, I want to, man, I want to date her, bro. And she a redhead. I want that. I want that. No, it was like, yeah, personality and compatibility is always what I went with first. Because I wasn't insane or whatever, right? And the whole thing here also just wasn't a great selection of girls who were also into the things I was into, anime, manga, DBZ, whatever. And so whenever that compatibility did come along, it was rarely black girls because of geographically where I grew up in Louisiana. So when it happens, y'all, there's nothing more disheartening than like being told from a white girl, sorry, I can't date you. My dad would be upset. Now, this is not one. This is multiple girls did this to me throughout high school. And the thing about that is like, D1, I want you to imagine here. Imagine, right? For a girl to just flat out shoot you down when you shoot your shot. How racist must the parents or the father be at the house for the girl to know preemptively. Never brought me there. Never even when I just to talk or whatever, right? Just to get the phone number or whatever may be here. How overtly racist must one be for the daughter to know at like age 15, 16 that sorry, my dad's a huge bigot. He's not gonna be cool with this at all. We ain't no interracial happening around here.
Yeah, dude. It's I've definitely had that happen even before ever entertaining the idea of trying to even holler at said chick. Like, like they would just say it. It's so bad that they're trying to sow those seeds so early into their children, man. It's like, because that only will just make the cycle continue, right? Of racism. Like you could instead just like totally let the child do as they please instead of trying to inculcate in them the fact that hey, if they are of a certain skin tone, they're not right for you because of whatever kind of stereotypes or I just won't accept it. And then that all that will do is in their head make them think, all right, these are the undesirables. Stay away from them. Avert your gaze when they look at you. God dang it, man. And that, you know what that does to you as a person of color who hears that? That makes you just think you are undeserving of love. That makes you think that all right, well, crap, I didn't control me looking the way I look, but I guess people just don't like the way I look. Like, what should I do? Should I be like Michael Jackson? Should I bleach my skin? Should I straighten out my hair? Like, what's gonna make people want to actually look at me? Because I am already a good person, but because of my skin, because of my hair, whatever, and the stereotypes tied with it, I am not a good person. Okay, well, that hurts. So
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts, and it's like it. I don't know. It feels like it's not just rejection. It's like I don't know how to put it here because it hits differently. It's like a self worth evaluation. Like, damn, am I really like, am I not worth it? I don't know. It hit me really hard. That one hit me hard, and I was like, damn, dude, this sucks. This really sucks. It I guess you know what it feels like. Maybe it's because like for our parents and our grandparents, they had to like live through like segments of segregation, and here you got a sample of like what that really feels like. That exclusion when it had that exclusion based on a factor beyond your control and irrelevant of your own choices and character. And it's just like, damn, dude, really? Like that's there's no. I'm already at the point of rejection. There's no redemption I can do here. Well, like what the fuck, dude? So I don't know. Yeah, that I just you brought up here. I kind of forgot about that little part there. So that's like something I always hits me kind of like, damn. You don't when you don't want to make things racial, but they end up becoming racial even when you don't want them to.
yeah,
So
yeah. Like when you like, I think one of the most annoying things that I've dealt with, I think I mentioned this already, is when you just hear a person when you're not even entertaining the thought of dating them, you just hear them say out loud, "Oh, I only date this group. I only date this group." Um, and they'd be like, "Well, if I were to maybe date a black guy, maybe I feel like you'd be like a really good black guy, but at the same time, my parents, yeah, but I feel like you're a great guy though." And then I would hear that, and I'm like, "What?" Like I thought we're just homies, you know what I'm saying? And then you'd hear stuff like that, and it's like, don't tell me that stuff. Like, like that's you actually need to be better. Like that's so weird. That's so weird. It's like, what did the parents teach them, bro?
absolutely.
If ever you would like to have the homie back on again in the future, please hit me up. I'll make the time because I'm definitely willing to share the love with everybody else. And to also give different perspectives because we all have different perspectives, right? There's some of us who probably didn't go through as many like racist acts as others, and some who probably dealt with a lot. Some maybe probably dealt with situations where they felt uncomfortable in the workplace because of their differences and all that. But at the end of the day, never let that make you feel like you don't matter, that you should stop trying, or that you're undesirable, or that your voice doesn't need to be heard. All our voices need to be heard. And you guys are all deserving of success. Keep fighting hard. to prove to the rest of humanity that we actually can be morally upstanding contributors to society despite the way we were born. That was out of our control. But what can we control? Being uh, uh, being a great contributor to society, and you just got to give us a chance. And that's it, man. Black Lives Matter. To all you guys out there, keep being a force for change, and also remember that no matter what you were born as, that doesn't mean that you aren't destined for success. Keep on thriving. Keep on trying to teach others how to make the world better, and don't ever be discouraged because there are people that don't share your views. Understand that not everyone is always going to share the views that you have, but as long as you are willing to keep taking the initiative to educate others the best way that you can, you will still be a force for change at the end of the day. And we're proud of you for that. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a great night, bro.
You too. Thank you so much, y'all. Peace.
Peace.